Hi, everybody. Welcome. So, I think most of you have arrived. We can kick it off now, and thanks for making it at this obscure time of day. I understand all of you are at home or spending time with family. So, this is going to be a very short webinar. My name's Josh. I started giving webinars last week for OptionTrade, and this is our week two topic. It's called Enhance Your Short Term Trading Potential. And with short term trading potential, what we mean by that is typically expiries in the binary market of between 3 minutes to 5 minutes in duration. As you know, in binary options, it's very different to FX. In FX, you can have there is no real duration to how long you want to keep a position open. It's mainly there how many pips you capture and what your stop loss levels are. With binary, it's your in price and the expiry time and also the expiry rate at the time of expiry. So when we talk about short-term trading in binary options, everything is short-term in binary options. There is no long-term trades. The longest you'll get is maybe a month out, and that's quite rare. Normally it's end of day, and most traders, if you look at the distribution, they trade very, very short-term. So we're talking anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, all the way to 15 minutes to an hour. So the agenda today is I'll give you a quick introduction about myself for those of you that weren't there last week. Then I'll go over the two main types of binary strategies, or the two main types of pockets in which different binary strategies fit into: price action, mean reversion. And then finally, we'll get to the actual strategy that some of us in this trading group that I run use and profitably. And also, finally, I'll end on how you can avoid key dangers in the binary market. Now, before I do this, I'm required to read this to you as per the law, and please bear with me. So, the contents of this material are provided by a third party, not OptionTrade, and are for informational purposes only and do not constitute investment advice. OptionTrade and Blue Sky Binary assume no responsibility for any potential errors, inaccuracies, or omission in this material. Nothing in this communication contains or should be considered as containing an investment advice or an investment recommendation or a solicitation for the purpose of purchase or sale of any financial instrument. Any views or opinions presented within this material are solely those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of OptionTrade unless otherwise specifically stated. Binary options trading may not be suitable for all investors as they carry a high degree of risk to your capital. Trading such products is risky, and you may lose all of your investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Poor fill rates, expiry times, market volatility, and platform errors could result in losing trades. Now, before deciding to invest in binary options, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange and binary options trading, and seek advice from independent financial advisors if you have any doubts. With that out of the way, I'll introduce myself. So, I run Blue Sky Binary. It's an advanced binary education and signals group with about 68% accuracy through time. The term ITM is used specifically in the binary industry. I know a lot of you are currency traders, as was I in my previous life. And ITM basically means the percentage of winning trades divided by the total trades taken. We are basically a Skype-based group with senior traders who teach various binary strategies that make money over time. And we also offer a 24-hour trade support and analysis to allow binary traders to trade safer. So it's a trade confirmation. We also, of course, our services extend to currency traders as well, because a lot of us are former currency traders. Probably worth noting and describe the nature of our relationship with OptionTrade, just so that everything is clear. We do these webinars for OptionTrade in order to educate you, the members or potential members, to become highly profitable binary option traders. We have declined compensation by OptionTrade in any way, so we're not getting any money, and we're not getting any sort of financial compensation for referring you to OptionTrade, so we're not an affiliate. OptionTrade meets our high watermark for quality as a trusted broker across the European Union, and trust is an issue in the binary options industry, so we do put a lot of weight behind that. Now, after this webinar is over, a few things to make clear, because I don't know which of you already are binary traders, and for those of you that this is very new, I'll say that this strategy that I'm going to teach you today, if you already are a binary trader, when you become good, then go live. But first, play with virtual money. Okay, OptionTrade has got a virtual uh, money facility, and you don't need to deposit real money in order to activate that. You just have to create an account, and then you can get your virtual account. If you're an FX trader and don't know what binary trading is, or you're very new to it, you can contact myself and I'll walk you through the steps. We would suggest you create a binary account with a reputable binary broker if you plan to get into binary trading. For us, the one that we've personally vetted, as mentioned earlier, is OptionTrade. Some of our members have accounts with them, and they are very heavily regulated. So you can go ahead and open an account with them if you wish to trade binary and are based in Europe. Mind you, they don't accept any clients from abroad. And finally, a reminder: we don't receive any compensation for recommending recommend you to them. Okay, so let's get right into it. So there are two types of pockets or schools of thought in terms of trading binary, and it's very similar to trading other assets like fixed income and currencies and commodities. One is price action, and that's where you're trading in the direction of the trend, and the other is mean reversion. And price action is, unequivocally more powerful. The trend is your friend, and you've heard this all the time, but identifying it is a bit more difficult as the trend needs to be fueled by fundamental news normally in order to carry serious weight. If it's purely technical driven, you could get stuck in between a rock and a hard place, especially in the binary market. So mean reversion is more common. Range-bound trading is more common, and it's easier to identify and can be profitable too. Now, the BSP short-term strategy is a mean reversion strategy. If you recall last week, for those of you that were there, our core BSP strategy, which is called BSP Core, is actually a blend between price action and mean reversion, whereas the BSP short-term strategy is pure mean reversion. Okay? So what is it? I told you this webinar is going to be short, and we're over 60% through. Okay? This is it. So what you see here is the AUD JPY. It's a 5-minute chart, and this is the European morning, I think today or on Friday. And what you're looking for here is a Bollinger channel that's relatively flat. For those of you that don't know what Bollinger Bands are, it's typically they are lines delineating or demarcating the standard deviation that the price moves in waves around the moving average. The moving average is the middle Bollinger Band. The upper Bollinger Band is typically 1.5 to 2.5 standard deviations away from the middle Bollinger. And the lower Bollinger is again 1.5 to 2.5 standard deviations away from the middle Bollinger. Now, as we taught in our last week's webinar, we in our BSP core strategy, we look at different formations of these Bollingers, constricting, expanding Bollingers, range-bound Bollingers, trending Bollingers, in order to make longer duration calls. But for the purposes of a short-term mean reversion strategy, when I say short-term, I'm talking about 5-minute trades, 3-minute to 5-minute turbo trades, okay? All you need to do is look at, generally speaking, the RSI, okay, the fast stochastic indicator, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, the nature of the Bollinger channel, okay? What you're looking for is a Bollinger channel that is relatively flat, okay? You'll notice here that the lower line and the upper line, the upper Bollinger, lower Bollinger, are generally parallel in this picture. Here, they were not. Here, they were, although they were parallel, they were trending down, okay? That's price action. The strategy doesn't work that well in price action unless you're a guru. So wait till the trend neutralizes and enters a stasis, or what you would call range-bound trading, where the price generally moves within the bands. And this is not difficult to identify because this happens over an hour or so. Okay, we're not trading seconds here. When you've identified a flat or stable Bollinger channel, take a look at your RSI. Make sure your RSI is set to 9 periods, not the typical 14. The less the periods, the more sensitive it is. And we need more sensitivity in these indicators because of the nature of the expiry, which is only 5 minutes. So once you've identified a flat Bollinger channel, take a look at your RSI and make sure that it's generally within or below 65 and above 35. Okay, 65 and 35. Make sure it's Generally speaking, within that range, you don't want it to be near the red line or the extremities where RSI is overbought or oversold. Because what happens when that's happening is, if you see here, if the RSI is oversold, generally speaking, the market is in price action mode. Okay? This strategy will not work that well. So ensure the RSI has recovered from the exhaustion and it's entered more normalized territory. That's the second check. The third check you do is you pull up the fast stochastic. All right? There's a slow stochastic, there's a full stochastic, and there's a fast stochastic. Set the periods again to 9 because you want more sensitivity, and the 1 for a 1 period average, okay? Just 1 period. And the entry you take, the 5-minute entry you take, is literally based on the slope of the last 5 minutes, okay? Now, I don't know any tools that calculate slope or the trajectory of indicators. If you know any, that'll be great. Please send them my way. But I just do this visually. And what you basically do is you see if the slope is over 45 degrees, 45 to 50 to 60. The steeper the slope, the better it is. Okay? And you literally wait till the candle closes. So we're looking at every candle here in this chart is 4 minutes and 59 seconds, or actually 5 minutes exactly. But what would you do is until 4 minutes and 50 seconds or so of each candle, you observe the slope. And the slope is steep, you go in the opposite direction. So in this case, in this first trade, I would have entered here. Now the price there is 98.368 or something like that. Okay? And sorry, I'm gyrating my mouse. It's because GoToWebinar makes my mouse disappear. So I'm not getting excited or breakdancing here. Just bear with me. I can't actually see my own mouse pointer sometimes, so I need to shake it alive. So anyway, I would enter the trade here. And over the next 5 minutes, I would actually make money. Now I know this doesn't, in currency, this would just be the spread. And you wouldn't be able to make money. But in binary, you can get back 70 to 80% of your return. Typically on turbo trades, it's towards the 70%. But here you would have won the bet, right? You would have gone here, put, or short, and you would have exited here automatically. And immediately, because at that point, at the point of exit, the slope would have come down at a sharp rate. This actually is minus 45 degrees or minus 50 degrees, or in degree terms, it's actually 140 degrees, depending on your orientation. Here, exactly where my mouse pointer is here, you could have gone call immediately or taken a long, and you would have entered the trade somewhere around here and exited here. And you keep doing this. As long as the slope is your friend, you can actually make a lot of money. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This may have been a loser right here. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 wins and 1 losses. And that's just in 20 minutes time. And this retroactively is easier said than done. I'll be completely blunt. This is, because what you need to first get used to, and this is why I said practice with a demo account, is first get used to identifying a stable Bollinger channel. You might actually find yourself stuck in the mud with price action, downward or upward trending channels. And that's not where you want to be. So spend some time when you're about to trade, spend an hour or so, and identify the currency pairs that are exhibiting the stable Bollingers. Okay? Then take a look at your RSI and make sure it's in a neutral territory. You don't want it to be an overbought or oversold. And finally, start slope trading. Okay? So that's the strategy. And one final bit of news, one final bit of kit is you need to be careful and mindful of the news. Okay? Because news, such as when Mario Draghi wants to cut rates, the overnight lending rate, or the FOMC comes out with more quantitative easing in the US, these range-bound patterns don't exist anymore. They enter price action. Okay, and this strategy just doesn't work. So make sure there's no news. Now let's discuss a little bit of calibration. So what you need from a technical standpoint to trade this strategy is firstly access to a chart provider that has a 5-minute time frame. So that's basically every chart provider. I personally use Oanda because Oanda has a great FX practice account or FX demo account. And it's actually a currency trading platform. So as I said, I used to be a currency trader, and I think they have a fantastic charting package. It's very visually pretty for the eye. Good, bright colors and some good drawing tools. And But you can use free stock charts. You can use MetaTrader 4, whatever you like. I personally use Oanda. Switch to candlesticks and add Bollinger Bands, the standard intervals. Okay. Add the RSI, 9-period look back, and thresholds at 80 and 20, like I said here. Okay. Add the fast stochastic indicator, 9 periods look back, and 1 period to average. That's this here. And get a big screen so you can have 6 currency pairs up, okay? And the turbo trades that OptionTrade offers or other brokers offer are generally speaking focusing on the majors. You don't get to trade that many exotics. You can also trade commodities. This strategy also works in commodities. And finally, don't forget, the trades placed are 5-minute turbo trades, okay? If you get really good, you can do it 3-minute turbo trades. But I would stick to 5 minutes. Now the question is, does this strategy actually make money? So this is our live record at BSB, the trading group that I run. And we're not only trading this strategy in that group. So these results are not representative of only that strategy. But what I will say is that the group is at 68%, but this strategy, okay, is operating higher than 68%. It's over 70%. It's a more profitable strategy than our core strategy, which is 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Okay. Another thing to note is that past performance that you're seeing here, that does not indicate future results. So you need to be an experienced binary trader in order to achieve these type of results. Okay. And you can definitely get there, but don't just rely on this chart and, dive right in. Please be warned. Okay. Now I'm going to go over binary options dangers, and then we can close the webinar with a Q&A. So I think a lot of you, if you have entered or dabbled in the binary industry, would know that there are a lot of bots out there, a lot of exciting bots that promise to make you rich and change your financial fortunes and all of that. I have tried a lot of them. I've actually lost over $15,000 in binary options in the last year. And 99% of the bots I've tried actually don't work. They get you to deposit money with a broker, but they just don't work. Okay, so you can either learn from my mistakes or you can make your mistakes and consider it a cost of education like you would spend on your MBA. I would tell you, don't trust any bot. Nothing in life comes that easy, and there's no money making machine. Second thing is the 5 to 10% of traders actually make money in FX, like I think in FX the figure is closer to 5%. And the story isn't much different in binary because the underlying asset is FX. So understand, in order to beat the markets for a living, you need to take time to understand a strategy and system. Otherwise, you will be gambling. Now, is this the only strategy and system, the short-term one? Absolutely not. There are literally hundreds out there. But this is one that works. And if you're struggling to find one, then you can certainly adopt this. The next thing is blowing your account. Now, that's not a bad thing. There seems to be this misconception that, I blew an account, I'm not ready for binary. Well, it depends on your finances. So you shouldn't be trading binary options if you're in financial trouble, okay? Or if you don't have a stable job, this is not the market for you. But if you have extra income to play with, blowing your account is part of your binary journey. It actually matures you as a trader, and you can analyze the pitfalls. I've blown over 25 accounts. So it's like an MBA. You spend $1,600,000 on learning. Where does that money actually go? Here, you're spending money on just becoming a better trader. And you learn money management through time. Finally, signal services. So as you know, I run a signal service, and I'll be the first one to tell you that signal rooms and signal services, there are some legitimate ones out there, but it's only 5%. For every one good room, there are 20 crappy ones. So be very careful when you're investing your hard-earned money into them. Ask for a performance record and an audit trail. For example, in ours, everything is audited. Everything is tracked right on the trader level and the trade level. So you definitely need to ask whichever room you're joining, show me the money, show me the proof. So on that note, thank you for your time. I hope that wasn't too painful at this time of night. You can reach us at support@blueskybinary.com or add us, Blue Sky Binary, on Skype. We are located at www.blueskybinary.com. And I hope that was somewhat informative for you. I will now take Q&A. So just press the hand symbol with the red arrow on it, and I will unmute you. Does anybody have any questions? That's no. Okay, yes, I do see a question. 1 second from Mustafa Hassan. 1 second, Mr. Hassan. Yes, Mustafa, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Congratulations. That was quite a good webinar.
Thank you.
The questions I have, what would you suggest for someone who's actually coming new into the market? What kind of, in terms of monetary terms, what sum should they be starting with?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. That's a fantastic question, actually. So it's a catch-22 situation. You don't want to start with a large sum because you don't have a winning binary strategy at the moment, which means if you deposit, let's say $5,000, unless you're a very experienced FX trader, you will lose the money. Just the binary industry when you first get in is a lot to take in. So equally, if you go in with $100 to $200, it's not enough liquidity. I would never recommend opening an account with just 100 to 200 because you need backup capital. And psychologically, if you're down 50% on a $200 account, it's very tough to regain the edge. So I would recommend to you, as a new starter, come in with about 500 US, okay, $500,
Okay.
and try and grow that 500. You can do this taking our advice, or you can do this taking Google's advice, or any other people you know. But try and grow that to 1,000. Okay, and I don't mean by
Right. Okay.
I don't mean by placing a $500 bet and suddenly you have 1,000 in your account. I mean, try and grow it with your classic money management rules, which is no bet is more than 5% of your capital, and grow it over a 2 to 3 week period. And if you can get to 1,000, then I would say you deserve to actually deposit a $5,000 and then grow that to 30-40,000 by the end of the year. That's very doable, but start small.
Right. So your recommendation, the maximum exposure to the market should be no more than 5%.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what I would say that for beginners, definitely, 100%. Never ever put more than 5% because you're going to lose more than you win, unless you follow a strategy, at which point you'll be winning more than you lose. But 5% is already a lot. If you look at the classic asset management industry, equities and fixed income and currencies, investors and portfolio managers, they don't like to risk more than 5% per position. So I would say 5% is good. If you have a $500 account, that's $25 per trade. The minimum trade at OptionTrade is $10. So 25 is absolutely fine, Mustafa. If once you become better, you can start putting in more. I mean, there's no doubt.
Okay, one final question.
Sure.
Let's say a trader, after a little bit of experience, how much are you looking to generate? What would a successful trader's expectation be on monthly terms,
Yeah.
in terms of a percentage?
Yeah. So that's look. I have a very, very good example here to show you. So here we have about 4 traders in the group, and we started 8 weeks ago, and we've made 400%. Okay, but that's, I would say, somewhat higher than usual. What you can assume is, roughly speaking, so our daily ROI is between 5 and 10%. You can assume about 3% is what a successful trader can make every day return on capital. So that's there are 22 business days in a month. You can be making 30 to 60% return on your capital every month. And that's following good risk management in binary options. But the moment it's a very slippery slope, because it's addictive, and B, you can, I've taken an account from $250 to $13,000 in 4 weeks at another broker, and they were worried because they thought I was going to liquidate them. But what they didn't know is that the strategy I was using was completely unsustainable. It was using a martingale technique, and it's not something I would recommend. So it's a very slippery slope. I would say 3% a day is something you can strive to, and that's a fantastic achievement. At first, you can make 10-20% a day because you have a small account size. But let's say you're sitting on $10,000, right? If you're making $1,000 a day, you're exceeding your risk levels on a $10,000 account. 10% a day is too much. So somewhere between 2 to 4%, 3% is fair per day.
So the once you increase your capital, you obviously increasing your risk exposure to the market.
No, sorry. Once you increase your capital in dollar terms, so let's say suddenly you're sitting on $10,000, then you want to reduce the amount you take per trade. So if you think about it, if you have a $10,000 account, you're not going to put a $500 trade, right? You can start putting $100 trades, so 1% of capital. Interestingly enough, the more money you have in your account, the lower risk binary options trading becomes. So
Fantastic. That's
yeah,
great. And just sorry to one more final. Sorry, I did say
sure,
final. Just one question.
sure.
A successful trader, what would out of 10 trades, what percentage would you need to be successful to be in the money?
That's
Out
a
of
very
10 trades on
yeah,
average.
that's a fantastic question. So the answer is twofold. If you trade turbos, so what I've taught you today, these short-term, short-duration trades, which is 3 minutes to 5 minutes,
Yeah.
their payout is only 70% on average. That means you, as a trader, need to win 6.5, roughly speaking, 6.5 trades out of 10. In
Yeah.
other words, 13 trades out of 20 trades you need to win. That's what you would call a profitable trader. If you
Yeah.
trade the 15-minute to 30-minute expiries, which is what most of the binary options traders trade, then you only
Yeah.
need to be 58% profitable. So you need to win 6 trades out of 10. Okay?
6 out of 10.
We are winning close to, I would say close to just under 7 trades out of 10. Um, and I would say anything above 65% is solid. If you're getting close to 75%, 80%, you're reaching elite level. I mean, that's elite. That's very, very rare.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much indeed.
no problem.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
No worries.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, does anybody else have a question? That was Mustafa Hassan. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Okay, everybody, that's my cue. Have a great evening. And again, you can get in touch with me if you have any further questions. Have a great day.